Welcome to The Explainer. You see headlines about new studies literally every single day. But have you ever stopped to wonder, how do they actually get those answers? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that whole journey, from a simple question to a conclusion you can actually trust.
It all starts with a big, important question. Something just like this. It's a question a lot of us have probably thought about. But how do you go from just wondering about something to getting a solid, evidence-based answer that could actually shape government policy? That's the exact journey we're going to explore.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll look at where the initial spark for research even comes from. Then, we'll walk through the whole 5-step process that researchers use as their roadmap. We'll dig into forming the problem, making a testable prediction, and then choosing the right tools for the job. And finally, we'll wrap it all up by talking about why this whole thing matters so much.
So every single study, every investigation you read about, it doesn't start in some fancy lab with a bunch of equipment. Nope. It starts with a moment of curiosity, just looking at the world around us and seeing a problem you really, truly want to understand.
Is really driven by this fundamental need to identify a problem, like the economic chaos from a pandemic, to figure out how big it is, and then to find solutions that can make a real difference in the real world. This isn't just an academic exercise. It's about trying to build a better society.
Now, to turn that spark of curiosity into an actual discovery, researchers can't just, wing it. They follow a really clear 5-step blueprint. It's what makes their work rigorous and, most importantly, reliable. This right here, this is the journey every credible research question takes, from just an idea all the way to a formal conclusion. And let me tell you, every single step is absolutely critical. You can't skip one. It's kind of like building a house. You wouldn't skip pouring the foundation, right? Same idea. Okay, this brings us to what might be the single most important step right at the beginning: sharpening your focus. You just can't research a vague feeling. You've got to hammer it into a solid, specific question.
And here's what that transformation looks like. See the difference? We can't just research a vague topic like income inequality. Why not? Because we have to know exactly what we're talking about. Are we measuring monthly paychecks or someone's total net worth? Are we comparing the top 1% to the bottom 50%? By getting super specific, we create a question that is actually answerable.
So, once that question is crystal clear, what's next? Well, the next step is to make an educated guess about what the answer might be. And this isn't just a shot in the dark. It's a formal prediction that's going to guide the entire investigation.
You should think of the hypothesis as the study's North Star. It's a clear, testable prediction that gives the whole project a direction. From this point forward, every single decision is all about one thing: seeing if this statement actually holds up when you look at the evidence.
So for our example, a really strong hypothesis would be a clear statement just like this one. It's not just saying there's some kind of relationship, it's predicting the direction of it, that the gap actually increased. The goal of the research now becomes pretty simple: gather the evidence and see if the data supports this, or if it refutes it.
Okay, so you've got a clear question and a testable hypothesis. Now the researcher becomes like an architect creating a blueprint. They have to make some really critical choices about what tools and methods they're going to use to find their answer.
The first big decision is all about the type of information that's going to best answer the question. Are we looking for hard numbers and statistics, or are we trying to find personal stories and experiences?
And this brings us to the two main paths you can take. Quantitative research, that's all about the numbers. It gives you that big picture statistical view, which is perfect for seeing broad trends. But then you have qualitative research, which gives you the deep human context behind all those numbers. And look, neither one is better than the other. They just answer different kinds of questions.
All right, the next critical decision is all about timing. Does the researcher want to capture a single moment in time, like a snapshot, or do they want to see how things change over a period of years, more like watching a movie? This choice dramatically changes what you can learn.
So, here's the crucial point. Do you want a snapshot or do you want a movie? A snapshot is efficient and it tells you what's happening right now. But a movie, a longitudinal study, that can reveal cause and effect in a way a single picture never, ever could. It shows you the whole story.
So with the blueprint all locked in, the project moves into its final, massive phases. First up is data collection, which is just executing the plan, doing the surveys, conducting the interviews. Next, you've got data analysis. This is where researchers use all kinds of tools to sift through that mountain of information and find meaningful patterns. And finally, the reporting stage is where they share what they found with the world. Each of these steps is a huge undertaking, really forming the backbone of the whole discovery process.
So, why? Why go through all this trouble? Why is this rigorous step-by-step process so incredibly important for all of us?
Because this methodical journey is what separates a guess from actual evidence. It takes us beyond what we think is true and shows us what the data is actually saying. This process is what lets us understand the root causes of our biggest problems and design effective solutions based on fact, not just feelings. So, the next time you see a headline about some new study, you'll know the incredible journey of curiosity, rigor, and discovery it took to get there. It's a powerful process that really does shape our world. And it leaves us with one final thought. What question would you want to see answered next?